Hi friends, Michael here. This is the first of these videos that I've made since the election, and if you're new to these, the conversation here is about how Democrats and Republicans can start to get back together and have conversations even when we disagree, and be friendlier adversaries as opposed to sworn enemies, with complete contempt for each other, which I think is not a practical way for us to operate. So, for most of these videos, I've been talking to both sides of the aisle, trying to find our common ground. Today, I want to speak specifically to my fellow Democrats. So, if you're in my camp, meaning if you agree that we need to repair this conversation, for the sake of our own survival and for practicality, because what we're doing right now is really not working, I think. And if you agree with that, we have a unique opportunity, because of the fact that our candidate won the election, to participate in moving forward in that effort. So I'm going to suggest some things that are, there are ways to do that. So, and some of them are very old-fashioned ideas. You know, this snipey, nasty, name-calling way of relating to each other really escalated under Trump. I'm not going to say he invented it, but to see the President of the United States say punch somebody in the face and making up stupid, demeaning names for people, and it really upped the childish level of our conversation. So I want to remind you of some things that you can do now. One is, don't gloat. It's ugly. We've been listening to the Trump folks gloating for 4 years. You won, get over it, in your face, bet you're uncomfortable now, liberal tears and all this stuff, and showing a real lack of compassion. Let's not do that. I know revenge sounds fun, but it's not practical, and it doesn't solve anything. If you want to help solve this, resist, be kind, be compassionate, don't gloat. If you can imagine how you would feel if Trump got reelected, that's how Trump followers feel now, because he didn't. I know we disagree with them politically, but that's a real feeling. Some of them are fearful right now. Some of them are upset and freaked out and don't know what to do. And frankly, the last thing they need is somebody kicking sand in their face while they're down. Let's not be those people. We could choose not to be those people. Doesn't cost us anything, right? In fact, I've tried to reach out to the few Trump supporters that I know to console them. Again, you don't lose anything. Show compassion for what they're going through. Tell them I said to my Trump supporter contacts, I'm here for you, honest to God. I'm here for you if you need to talk about this. I'm here for you in support of what you're going through. It's going to be okay. And that, you don't lose any points, because we're not playing that game. Stop campaigning for Joe Biden. The election's over. He won. You don't have to argue his merits back and forth with anyone. Let people have their feelings about Biden, just as we did about Trump. He's going to be our president. They will have to adapt, but don't keep having that argument. It's a waste of time. If you have in your life people who are claiming election fraud, let them do it. You don't have to win that argument. We're not in a position to make policy or make decisions about how to proceed. I don't know. I have no juice with anybody in the government. So, what I'm trying to do is, when people say, "Oh, there's fraud, there's election fraud," I'm going to say, well, if so, I hope we get to the bottom of it. Take the sting out of it, because if there's any legitimate fraud concerns, they will be able to bring the cases. So far, Trump's lawsuits they've been rejected by the courts, and let's trust the system a little bit. But it certainly doesn't affect the outcome of whether there's a fraud investigation by you having an argument with your Republican friend about that subject. You don't have to win that conversation. You really don't. And by the way, I've fallen for all these traps myself. I gotta police myself on this because it again doesn't have practical value, doesn't do any good. Um, you know, uh, um, one of the things that I have felt about folks on the Trump side is that for them it is a win-lose equation. It's like our side won, our football team kicked your football team's ass. It's like a boxing match. Somebody gets knocked out. But I don't see this way. I think this is a win for everybody. I think getting out from under the Trump regime is going to benefit everyone, and I'm going to continue to think of it as a mutual win that's going to be good for all of us. And It's my hope and my belief. And if you're a Democrat, I assume that is your hope and belief as well. And let's try to think of it this way uh, as a united group of citizens, we're going to benefit, and not you're going to suffer now, ha ha ha. Let's not enjoy anybody's sadness or bad feelings. Um, and I don't know about you, but listen. I grew up in New York City, which is not what people think. People don't think of us as being old-fashioned, ethical folks. But I was raised with the same basic ethics that a lot of us were. Uh, to do good, to do right, to be compassionate, to be the bigger person. And that's something we haven't talked about much, or we haven't seen much of from the other side. But you be the bigger person. Another old concept: do unto others as you would have others do unto you. How would you want to be treated if you'd lost? If your side had lost, if you believe in sides. Um, it's just not. I think it's time to get back to your own personal ethics. Be the way you want the world to be. It sounds so philosophical. Well, I guess it is, um, I also think it's practical. I'm gonna keep saying that. So my concern is this: by continuing to behave in the ugly way that Donald Trump behaved, we perpetuate his impact on our country. We perpetuate it, by calling people stupid, and name calling, and mocking, the other point of view. Uh, we're just perpetuating his really, really childish, ugly, bullying style, and I don't want to do that. I'd like to see us move away from that. I hope some of this makes sense to someone out there. Um, Thanks for listening and for joining me. And feel free to comment. You disagree, push back. I've already had that. That's fine. Push back in the comments. We can have a conversation about it. And but if you like what I'm saying and you agree with me, spread it around. I'd like this philosophy to gain some traction and take root. I think it's time for an era of kindness and camaraderie and brotherhood and sisterhood. And yeah, personally, I'm really relieved. I'm really relieved that Trump hasn't been reelected. I don't know if we would have survived that. So, all right, let me know what you think of these ideas. I'd love to hear. Thanks. Bye.